Call of the Night. That's the right name. Call of the Night. We I finished reading it. The whole thing. I'm caught up. Um, this to note is after I dropped it twice early on in the series because I just got bored. Unfortunately, that's how it felt for me early on. I do like it later in the mid manga, and it's not a mid manga. It's a good manga, but I do like the mid part of the series better. Once you get past that like chapter 30 to 40 point, I think it gets more interesting. But I'll be honest with you, I dropped it twice, so if you think I'm giving this like a 9 or a 10, you're out of your mind. And obviously it's not done yet. This manga kind of makes me think about the idea that, you're only as good as your last chapter isn't really the case, but you're only as good as your last arc as long as you get one and you don't get canceled before then. So I look at the series really fondly so far, even though I technically dropped it twice, so I really shouldn't. The early manga is so a slice of life, and we don't really know shit about the main character. To me, it's very uninteresting. Once we get to know more about the character surrounding the main character and the main character, it becomes more interesting. The main character becomes more likable. You get to understand him more, and I think that they should have just got it done faster. Listen, I'm telling you, in Shonen Jump, the shit would have been canceled after 10 chapters. The horny bait might have been what kept it in it. I don't know, but you don't get the opportunity, as far as I know, in the manga industry to make a slice of life that is just kind of okay to read. I think you have to either be really, really funny, which early in the series I don't think it is. Um, but once the characters start to build on themselves, it starts to get much funnier, much more interesting. I'm afraid, right, that the anime that is obviously coming out for it is going to get held back in this regard. Now, I don't I don't know how far they're gonna get. I imagine it's probably just a 12 or 13 episoder. I don't imagine it's a, you know, it's gonna be a double season or a 26 episode or 24. I imagine it's going to be a 12 episode thing, which is gonna hurt it a bit. Because I do feel like it sucks early on. If they skip a lot, maybe they'll figure it out. I don't know who the director is. Linden Films doesn't have me super hyped. Oh, that's the director. All right, I take it all back. The anime is gonna be fine. The anime will be fine. It'll be a good anime. I take it back. I take back everything I said. Look, we're not even gonna change what I said earlier. The early manga things, I think that director can do it. The director is here. I'll give you the name. Tomoyuki Itamura. He is a very important reason to why Monogatari was like it was. So that's why I have faith in this guy to make a vampire series, nonetheless. Um, so other than that, the designs are really good. It's a very all the trailers and stuff, the art. It's been very pretty. It's been very nice to look at. I love the colors they use. At the very least, it'll probably be an overrated series on Mal just because it looks nice, um, which is fine. That's not a bad thing. So now that we're past the part where uh, I get my thoughts about the anime and the manga out early, I want to talk about the later in the manga because this is a little bit of a review because I did read all 113 chapters. 121. Why did I say 13? I think it's up to 121 as I'm making this video. Um, the mid and late parts of the manga are really, really good. So that's why I think of this series fondly, is because I think the last arc was great. I think everything that happened with the detective, which if you know, you know. I'm not gonna go out and spoil things, but if you don't have the detective and the other characters involved, the friends of the main character, Ko, his friends are involved quite a bit. Um, it has some really good arcs. I think it was really, really good. I was impressed, considering how it had started. So if I were to give the mid and late game, late game, the late periods of the manga that have released so far, I don't know how long the manga is gonna last, like how long it's gonna go on for. I can't imagine it's gonna go on for another 200 chapters or something like that. I could imagine it goes on for another 100 maybe. Um, but eventually you gotta end it. But that's not really the point. The In the chapters like 50 and up, I give it like an 8. It's a really good manga. It's worth the read. It's worth getting past the beginning, which I would give a 6, because it's not so boring that I'm like, oh, this is fucking terrible. But it's not particularly good. There's nothing great about it. It has some unique plot lines that it is setting up, but it really takes you to get to that mid part of the manga for you to be like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're building narratives, now we're building arcs, and characters seem more interesting because we're building the plot lines around them, we're developing them. If that was his goal, or her goal, I don't know if the mangakas what they are, but if that was their goal, they did a great job at it. It's given. See, I see on Mal it's a 7.94, but where I read the manga, it's given like a 8.9. I'd say it's probably more around the 7.9. I think that's an accurate rating, but that's okay. I think that's a good rating for it. 7.9 all around is probably right on the mark. It's accurate. Mal is dead accurate. And I hope the anime, if it has pretty visuals, will probably be rated a bit higher because that tends to be how it is, right? Something like Spy Family that yeah, annoy a little. I might annoy people here, but without a doubt, it is not a 9.03. It is not better than Love is War. This season of Love is War. It's not better than it. Love is War is better in a lot of departments when it comes to storyline, when it comes to animation and direction. But because Spy Family is pretty and is the thing of the season, right? It is very funny, to be fair. That's the difference between Spy Family and something like Call of the Night. Spy Family is really funny early on, which keeps you in it to get to where the storyline actually happens. And in the end, it's still mostly goofy, where unfortunately Call of the Night just isn't that funny early on. That's the big gap. But Spy Family, my point getting across is it's not a 9.03. It's like an 8.3, 8.4 show. That's what it should be rated on Mal. I really couldn't tell you why it's rated so highly. Maybe people really love these characters, but guys, it's not the first slice of life we've had. I don't really get it. I'm a little lost on it. I think it's good. Don't get me wrong. I'd give it an 8. 7.5 and 8. It's fun. It's good, but it's not. Guys, it's not a 9. It's not a 9. It's not. If anything, Love is War is closer to a 9 than Spy Family. But alas, that's not what this episode or this fucking video is about. This video is about Call the Night, which 7.9. I bet it'll probably be an 8. It'll hover around 8, a little higher in 8. Um, if they end up piss smurfing with animation and design wise, we might see like an 8.4. I'd say it peaks at an 8.4. It's a fun watch. It will be a fun watch, even though it does go over the early parts. I bet the director will be able to make it more enjoyable and palatable for you. So when that comes to happen, when it comes out, yeah, I'd recommend watching it. It's a good read. I give it a 7.5, an 8 for the later arcs, a 6 for the early arcs, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.